So hi, one of the Good Noise podcasts here with Big Aluminum. We're going to chat about their new album today. I'm going to start. So congrats on that release, by the way. Oh, look, someone has opinions tonight. How do you feel the response to it so far?
It is not out yet.
I know. I am trying to cut that part out of the long ass question. So,
how do you
but
feel
yes,
about the response to the album
so far.
To people you've shown it to, since at the time of recording,
Okay.
It isn't out yet.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I feel like I've gotten pretty good review. Review, especially the first 3 singles, because like I feel like when I released Emo Phase back in like July, I think it was, I had like a couple Twitter buddies and like relatively no audience. But since then, I feel like it's just kind of built, and it's exciting to like actually have people interested, like people knowing that I have an album coming out next month and being like, oh, cool, like actually wanting to listen to it.
Yeah. I still think, even after listening to the entire album, Emo Phase is still my favorite track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you first said that, I was like, really? Like Emo Phase? Or when you did the last interview, or not interview, but when you talked about First Rain, I was like, really, Emo Phase? And then I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, that's probably good, because a lot more of the songs sound like that, I feel like, than sound like First Rain.
Yeah. It's just, there's something about it. I mean, I definitely have to give the album another listen, because I was like half paying attention, kind of.
Yeah, and I think a good chunk of those are like still demos on that Spotify or on that SoundCloud link too.
Yeah, because like some of these don't sound like he would actually put them on Spotify.
You're like, I'm not gonna say anything, but I don't know if he wants to go through with it.
I don't know, maybe you want to put that one back through and remaster that one, or maybe master it at all.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I feel because the first song's like here, and then the second one's like.
Yeah, I was sitting here like adjusting the volume. I felt like I was mastering it myself.
For sure. That's hilarious.
Okay, well, is there any meaning behind the album name or cover art?
There's a little, but nothing too overly meaningful. The title is something my girlfriend actually just said one night to me, because I think I was probably being sassy or something, and she's like, oh look, someone's got opinions tonight.
Damn right, I do.
Put it in my notes app, and the minute I was like looking for a title, I was like, oh, this is perfect for like the arc of the album, or what arc the album does have.
All right.
And the cover art was actually I didn't have like a great idea of what I wanted in my mind, and I kind of just like threw a couple ideas out to like this artist friend I have, and that's what she came back with, and I was like, oh shit, like that's fantastic.
All right, I like that, and I like how you kept all the single arts like in that same style too.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like one was like yellow with like different writing and everything on it, so I appreciate that.
No, that was like the thing I think I planned the best for the album, was the 2 singles and the
So at least you had somewhat of a release plan, because some DIY bands are like, we just kind of threw it up on Spotify and that was it. We made it in Snapchat 10 minutes before it went out, kind of thing.
Gotta respect it though.
Yeah. So what was your writing process like for this album?
It was roughly the same. I tried to take a couple different approaches, write a little more riffy stuff, but I don't think it necessarily came through. A lot of them are still just like folk punk songs that I kind of fill out differently once it brings like a whole band into the equation. But most of them started out just acoustic guitar and like lyrics from my like notes app in my phone.
Mm-hmm. So just simple.
Yeah, I don't know if it's what works best for me, but I found out it's what works most efficiently for me. I think because I can actually kind of put, even if it takes me coming back to it a few times, I can put like verse, chorus, bridge like together and actually feel like I have some sort of song there.
Was your entire writing process like the song we chatted about, Emo Phase, or did it vary from song to song?
It varied a little bit, but it was probably pretty similar. Um, there are a couple different ones that it took me like I started it and then it took me like 8 months to finish because I wrote like 4 other ones in between.
Wow.
But and there are a couple that are redone full band from. There's one from each solo or like acoustic EP I put out. But pretty much across the board, it was pretty like sit down with the acoustic guitar and just kind of hash out songs.
So it's actually funny that you bring up like an 8-month gap. Granted, it could be hypothetical, it could not be. What song took the longest to write on the album then?
Because of that, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that was probably like written before I put out. At least it was before at least 1 or 2 of the EPs that came out back in December, January. And then I think I just had like the last verse. I didn't really have anything for it. And then that came to me probably somewhere along putting the album together. So I think it probably is about like eight or so months.
Okay.
And then that outro actually came on a lot later. I was just messing around one night and like kind of improv that. And I was like, well, I think I need to find a spot to put that.
Okay.
So I kind of tacked that on. So honestly, it might be closer to 9 months, 10 months.
Okay. Goddamn.
Wow. That's a lot. Okay. Can you tell me where your headspace was while creating this album?
Generally, I feel like I've been in a much better headspace. A couple of them are still there's one breakup song on the album. I couldn't help it because
Yeah.
it was the first like good song I feel like I ever wrote. But generally, they've kind of been more about, instead of like finding the people that love you, is more about like letting them down and feeling like you're not necessarily enough. And then there are a couple love songs that kind of dip and weave in between all the bummer emo.
Okay. So this question should be like super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Shorts. Upbeat and witty.
Witty.
Okay.
I like witty. That's a good one.
Thank you.
For some reason, this question made me think of Wii Tennis, the song. I just want to say, while I was listening to that song, I had the sudden urge to play Wii Tennis. So
I hope somebody from Wii gets that same feeling.
gets that same feeling. Yeah, I was like, I really want to just pick up the Wii controller right now and go play some Wii. I didn't, because I have to move all the shit in the room, but I was thinking about it. So.
I actually played Wii Tennis it's funny you mentioned that because I played it for the first time in like possibly years, a week or 2 ago.
As you should.
I was off work and bored, and the Wii's just been hooked up in our living room, and I was like, you know what? Why not?
Yeah, I go in phases of it, Sometimes, like, I'll play the Wii every night for, like, 2 weeks, and then forget about it for a couple months, so.
I almost feel guilty like I'm wasting it, because I've seen Wii's, like, selling online for stupid amounts of money.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I gotta keep mine, though. Like, I
exactly.
use it for the Wii
like,
Sports,
Yeah, 100%. Like, I can't part with it. But.
Yeah. As much as I could use the money, Wii Sports.
So, while going through the album, what band or artist influence do you think pop out the most?
I feel like obviously the Front Bottoms. Then a couple. I Adjust the Sails, Flat Stanleys, some more acoustic-driven stuff. There's one very St. Judasy song. The intro is very St. Judasy.
Yeah,
You should.
I've also heard Jeff Rosenstock, which I never really thought about myself, but I kind of like the more I've listened to it, I'm like, okay, maybe a little bit. I think it's like the loud guitars and screechy vocals.
Oh, well,
now
that's
that you bring
solid.
it up, I think I can hear Jeff Rosenstock. So that's good. That's a compliment.
I love it. I've taken that as a huge compliment every time I've gotten it.
As you should. So is there a certain feeling you want the listeners to have while going through the album?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. to me, I feel like there's a mix of like super personal songs to me, and like kind of more overarching like storytelling songs. So I think everybody will probably feel a little different when they listen to it, you know, because what sticks out to me may not necessarily be what sticks out to other people. And I also, this is the first thing I've really had other people play on. I had a couple buddies. My uncle recorded guitar on a few tracks, like Emo Phase, and all the synths are done by my buddy Ethan. So I think that's kind of, it adds like another layer of like how they interpreted the song when they heard it versus how I kind of heard it in my head.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of cool. It adds like another layer.
Yeah, I like that.
So we actually like to end interviews off with this last question. We know you haven't even like dropped this album yet, but are you working on anything new? Are you writing now? Is there a song in the works? Maybe even another album before the year ends? What are you doing?
Nothing. Well, I'm on a cover comp coming out the first of the year with some buddies, like How I Became Invisible. I saw their interview with you guys a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
St. Judas, Sad Act, and there's a bunch of other cool bands, all of which I cannot remember because I don't have the list. But I'm excited for that. I'm always writing a little bit. I think I've been facing some writer's block the past few months. Maybe partly due to recording, partly due to being generally happier. So, but I'm sure there'll be a couple releases next year. I think I'm gonna focus more on smaller projects because I was a little overwhelmed by recording all of these. Even though I took like my sweet ass time with it.
Yeah, and I did hear through the grapevines there might be something exciting going on right before the year ends with us.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm actually. Oh my god! Yeah. That's December 26th and 27th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This interview will be like well out past then, so it's fine that we talk about it now.
Dope. I'm actually practicing with the people in my band I'm playing with that night tomorrow, and it just completely like.
You know, you're not the first band that was like, yeah, shit, I forgot about that. Thanks for the reminder, though.
I am super stoked for that though, because that'll be like the first Big Aluminum full band performance.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So. No, it's an honor to be playing it. Thank you.
We've had a couple of first band performances, a couple of last band performances on the last one, so yeah.
Damn, nice.
So as Glory said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Other than this album, listen to some of the homies' music. I mentioned a bunch of them already. St. Judas, How I Became Invisible, Sad Act, Joe Howland. I'm sure there are people I'm forgetting. Derek Christensen. When's this coming out? Roughly.
Well, probably sometime next year, early next year, within like that year month of January.
Okay, sweet. Then yeah, Derek Christensen and I, check out our live stream for our co-album release that happened last month, December. And St. Judas, Blue Vines, that was another one I forgot. He'll be playing too. But yeah, other than that, like, thanks for having me on, guys. Wear a mask so we can have actual shows here soon.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for sitting out with us. This has been Big Aluminum, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.